cars, always gotta keep one roll. No, you can't fuck with the mob.
26 whole ass vehicles. I know since I was a kid, I've always been, you know, into cars, like playing around with Hot Wheels and shit like that. And I owe it to my folks, my parents. They used to always buy me like Hot Wheels and Matchbox. Shout out mum and dad. And here I am, 28 years old, having owned 26 cars, man. 26 cars. That's a lot of cars, bro. And when I say cars, I'm not talking about like ordinary little Mazda 6 and Mazda 3s and Toyota. Not saying that anything's wrong with those standard passenger cars, but a lot of these whips that I've owned are all sought after Japanese vehicles that all you enthusiasts want to drive along. What's going on, guys? YENDORi TV back again with another video, and I've been saying I'm going to do this video for such a long time, but I ain't gonna lie, I've been procrastinating. I've been playing RuneScape, but I've been trying to make this video for a very long time. But when you've got 26 cars that you've owned and going through all the videos and going through all the photos, I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? Am I going to have a photo up of each one and like talking about them individually, or am I just going to just spit off the top of my dome? So it was just really difficult. So this is it. I'm just going to do it one take. Let's get right into it. Coming in at number 1, my very first vehicle was a 2002 V6 Honda Accord automatic. Now, when I was there's a test here in Australia when you do your year 12, it's called a HSC, and you got to get an ATAR. And my parents told me if you get above I think 90, we'll get you we'll buy you a car. And I'm like, sweet. I actually really wanted a Honda Accord Euro, because those things were fat back in the day. I was like, this is it, this is what I wanted. But I fell short. I didn't actually get 90. So my folks told me, look, we'll pay for half your car. I'm like, all right, sweet. So I just wanted to like get like a little Civic run around or something. Actually, I also low-key like the Mitsubishi FTO. I don't know, something about it, but thinking about it now, like, what the fuck? Mitsubishi FTO is what I wanted. Honda Accord Euro, of course, was first, but Mitsubishi FTO. And also, I wanted, what's it called? But anyway, I ended up getting a 2002 Honda Accord V6L because my dad was like, you must get this car. It is safe, it is stock. It's got all the luxury kitted options. It had everything: leather seats, sunroof. Probably one of the best cars I've had to date. Like, you know, in terms of like, you know, being a normal car, because it was just in fact normal. But let's cut to this chase. I don't want to make this video too long. I've got 26 whips to get through. Try to get through them as fast as I can. And if there's anything that you guys want me to talk more about, please let me know, because this is something that's been affecting me for years. Thinking that, holy shit, if I started this YouTube channel, like posting consistently a lot earlier, whilst all these whips came through, but I'd be like on some Adam LZ shit right now. So please help me out here. I'm trying to, you know, but fucking uni got in the way. Anyway, my advice to you is if you just want to go make a YouTube channel and quit uni, don't quit uni. Just get a day job, get a part-time job, and then just do uni, and then just do YouTube more. Right? Anyway, so I got this car. It was my whip, automatic. It was nice. It was actually the first car I took cursed out on a date with, which is pretty cool. Some good memories in that whip. And then after that, I really wanted to drive manual. Boom. I got the same car in manual, except it was like 4 years older. And funny story, guys, like with the 6th gen Accords, it was at this time that I reconnected with an old friend, E-Man. And he had a 6th gen Accord as well. It was insane. It's like my dad, you know, led me onto this vehicle, and then that made me reconnect with E-Man. And then this whole story and chapter unfolds with all these things going on. So man, shout out to E-Man, man, my broski. He taught me a lot about cars, bro. And it's gonna come up with this car number 2, the Honda Accord in 5-speed manual, slightly smaller engine. And I was having a blast, bro, driving manual. The only thing is, I didn't know how to drive, and my dad came with me to buy the car. Essentially, we bought the car, brought it back, it was all sweet. My dad taught me the basics, and I was out there learning by myself, and I'm like stalling at lights and shit. I'm like, oh, it's probably just my shitty driving. Turns out the clutch was fried. Yeah, so the clutch was good initially, but then, I don't know, they did something to adjust it, and then they made us buy the car with a flat clutch. Anyway, fixed the clutch, we were all sweet. And then this is where my whole world kind of changes, because E-Man, I think, was partying at his car or something, and he was selling his coilovers. Well, the coilovers were fit, so he offered to sell them to me and help me with the installation as well. I'm like, hell yeah, bro, let's do it. Mind you, I had no idea how to change suspension, none of that stuff. Like, it was very early days, so I remember we'd have the car jacked up on the driveway sideways because my driveway's got like a hill on it. And yeah, we would do the suspension swap. My mum would bring us sandwiches and shit. Man, that's crazy. But then after that, what did I want? I think this is when I went to Japan. Yes, I went to Japan. My fam and I, we went to Japan, and I fell in love with Silvias, like particularly the 180SX. If I go into my car sales, actually, you can see like right at the bottom, the few cars that I'd saved was the 180SX. I just fell in love with it when I was in Japan. I went to the Tokyo Auto Salon and I saw all these mad whips there. So naturally I wanted a Silvia, and by some crazy chance and reason, Australia decided to allow P-platers to drive turbocharged vehicles, but only the Nissan 200SX. So I was looking at S14s, all the S14s are kind of clapped out. So I ended up getting an S15, saved up hard. I was, mind you, I was studying at uni, working at Bunnings, tutoring kids, maths, English, and piano, and also working at an accounting firm. Yeah, I pretty much had freaking 3 jobs, man. It was wild, and while studying uni as well. And yeah, it's insane to think of it now. Like, if I'd gone back, and I don't think I would have even had time to do YouTube if I had to be honest with you. But it would have really paid off. I reckon all these whips and different adventures that I would have come about with it would have been really, really sick. But hey, we're pursuing the journey now, so I want to take you guys on this journey. So let's get on to it. Nissan S15, 2002 Silvia S15, and this car was wild, bro. I tell you, wild. Like, dude, your first turbocharged vehicle, rear wheel drive, and I bought it with like 300 kilowatts. Now here's the thing, here's where it gets interesting. You can only drive these vehicles bone stock. So this is when the Lowells first came out, so I was pretty SK, bro. Like, you know, I was one of the first ones. This is Silvia, boom, P-plates on. It felt pretty slick, and you know, I was really blessed and lucky to be able to do that. But in order to drive it, you had the car to be bone stock. So I found some stock parts with it, swapped it over to stock. I did this at Westside Mechanics, so shout out to Rob and Hung. And it's funny, like, Hung was like starting his first, I think one of his first jobs was to actually change my car into, you know, put the T28 ball bearing setup on. So that was crazy on the way. And like, I've met so many people through cars, and you know, buying parts, selling things, and looking at cars, and just, it's such a cool community to get into. There's so many good people in the scene. And look, this video's gonna go off forever, but fuck it. If you guys wanna watch, you'll watch it, right? I keep trying to make videos shorter, but it's like, you want to hear a fucking story? I'm gonna give you a fucking story. I kept the high power setup away on the side, thinking that one day I'll put this high performance setup back on. And that day came, because when I got my full license. So I got my full license, I'm like, sweet, let's chuck the high performance setup on. So put the high performance setup on, I mean, obviously my first time doing it. I think along the way, I actually forgot, after I installed everything, I took it for a test drive. And then with E-Man driving, sweet, took a turn, and I looked to my left. Why's my wheel? Why's that a wheel on the side? Boom. Fucking, one of the wheels literally just came off the car, and I was just planted on the side of the road. Luckily, the car was low enough so that the brake rotors didn't hit, the intercoolers didn't hit, it was just laying on frame on the side of the road. So EMS to the rescue, we dashed back to the house, got the jack, and then, you know, put the wheel back on. That's one incident. And then after that, went to take the car for a tune. Queen's birthday long weekend. After the tune was done, I was very hungry as well. So the boys came for a G up. Like, oh sweet, the tune, let's go for a cruise. Yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. Head back to the area, get some, you know, get a snack pack or a kebab. And then, yeah, on the drive back, I got done doing 47 over the limit, 107 in a 60 zone. And I was defeated, bro. I was like, fuck, this is it, I'm done. I remember when I got, the lights came on and I pulled over, I just had my head in my hands. I wasn't crying, I wasn't crying. I was like, I had my head in my hands, and I'm just like, fuck, this is it. I'm gonna fucking go to jail or some shit, or they're gonna impound the car. But thankfully the cop was really nice, because it was 47 over, it was just above that limit of 45 plus. He put me on 30 over instead. I mean, still a $900 fine and instant 3-month loss of license. So yeah, your boy lost his license back then, first year on my fools. And to make things worse, it was double demerit. So for that speeding offense, you cop 5 points, and then double demerit times 2, boom, 10 points in one go. I think I was always sitting on about 7 demerits plus 10, boom, 17. It was fried, absolutely fried. And then boom, there I was, like 3 months suspension plus another 3 months on top of that. Oh, sorry, 4 months on top of that. But instead of opting for the 4 months, I went for a good behavior bond. I did some good behaviors, driver's course shit, and then I still didn't get it. I still had to serve some. I ended up having to do a good behavior bond, which is you get 1 point for a whole of 12 months, and if you lose that 1 point, you're going to be gone for double the initial suspension. So I had to set a 3 months mandatory, and then it was going to be 4 months or good behavior bond. And a good behavior bond, I had to spend 12 months on 1 point. And if I had busted any points above that, instead of 4 month initial suspension, it'd be 8 months. So I took the risk. I'm like, alright, bet, let's do the fucking good behavior bond. I can do this shit, like, why not? Now, this is where it gets, my thumb, gee. This is where it gets interesting, because the whips changed up here real fast, and this is where it kind of evolved into something different. So, instead of just sitting around with an S15 for 3 months and a car that got me into trouble in the first place, I decided to sell it. And mind you guys, I sold this car for 17 grand. Yeah, the 300 kilowatt setup, mint, pearl white, SR20. Dude, shit was mint, 17 grand. You couldn't even dream of getting a car like that in today's market, in that condition, for that price. So I sold cars, I get something cheap. And I fell in love with R31s, and I found this R31, beautiful R31 1987 Skyline Silhouette, pristine condition for like 2 grand. Then I did the whole suspension swap setup, S13 front. It was like a cheap entry to get into it. And this is while I was trying to fight my suspension too, like I was going to court, doing all sorts of shit. And then I ended up, you know, not getting successful in my appeal. So I was like, well, fuck, now I just made this 31 and I can't even drive it, can't even enjoy it. So I decided to sell it. And dude, that car sold in 5 hours. I posted it in the morning, my inbox got flooded, sold in 5 hours. I made some good money on top of that as well. Now this is where it gets interesting, because I had a suspension to serve, the 3 month suspension still. I hadn't served yet. I just told you guys a story of what the options were. So then I was like, well, I've got to serve this 3 months. What can I do with this money? Like, I got this cash sitting around, right? I can't drive a car. And my mate Rashul, he was getting into importing cars and whatnot. So he was working with the boys at Mastercars, and he hooked me up, bro. He hooked me up with the access to all the auctions in Japan. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a Mark II, a Toyota Mark II. JZX100, that was on my list. I wanted a white one, factory manual, didn't really care about, you know, little dings and dongs, and that's what I was after. So it was pretty cool to have login and access to everything. Shout out to Rashul, man, my broski. He had turbo imports, and I was his first customer. So we went through looking for cars. I'm like, yeah, bro, I like this one. So he'll send it off to HQ. HQ will get the translator, interpreter, send me back the information. I'm like, yep. Because it's all in Japanese, right? And that's to learn how to read all the auction sheets, like XX means that a panel's been replaced and so on. And we found this grade R JZX100 Mark II. I was like, hell yeah, this looks pretty sick, but it's grade R. Like, why is it a grade R? Like, this looks pretty damn good. So I looked into it, and Japanese laws and the state of auctions is that if your car has replaced any panel, like even taillights, boot lid, whatever it is, instant grade R. Instant grade R. Now when we see grade R, we think it'd be like some low POS type of beat, but it was actually a really good car. And the reason it was a grade R is because it was a Series 1 converted to a Series 2. So therefore the rear boot lid had been changed when doing the rear tail lights, and therefore it was now a Series 2 and also a grade R. It also had an aftermarket front bumper in fiberglass and fiberglass side skirts too, which also took it to that next level too. Guys, I bought this car for 15K, landed and complied. Can you believe that? A factory manual 1JZ series. Dude, I was in paradise, bro. Like these cars back then, I'm talking, this is like 2000 and... It's crazy to think this is just only 6-7 years ago that we were able to buy these whips for such a great price. 15 grand, man. Dude, you're looking at about... I saw one advertised for 40 grand just the other day. Yesterday. Ridiculous. But hey, we're back in one again. That's the main thing. We're building it up. I had a blast of this car, man. I bought Blitzer 3s for 1,300 bucks. These wheels be worth fucking 10 grand right now, man. 18 by 9, 18 by 10. I think shout out to Hung and Kathy. I bought her of them to 1,300 bucks, bro. Holy shit. Now these wheels were worth about fucking 10 grand. Easy for these wheels, bro. So I'm looking at a picture of this Mark II right now because it's on my screensaver, because this is what I'm aspiring to build again. And thinking, man, if I kept this whip, like 15 for the car I spent, and then like 2 grand of the wheels, like 17. Dude, this is like 50 grand right now. Like that's 3x. Like the wheels and the, it's crazy. Stonks, bro, absolute stonks. You know what, I'm just the first 10. This is gonna be too long of a video, bro. Anyway, sadly and stupidly, I decided to sell the car. I got ridiculously negged down because it had like a mark on the coilover. I did so much work for this car, man. I sprayed the front bar, sprayed the side skirts, did so much work to it, and then I just sold it, bro. Even had the like ETS, the ETCS card reader. So when you start the car, it speaks to you in Japanese, like card o kudasai. It's like please insert card. It was honestly such a good car. That's why I was so in love with the silver one that came through, and that's why you're probably wondering what the hell you buy a fucking rear-ended wreck and put it together, because this car was actually amazing. It was like, I should have kept this one. There's a lot of cars I should have kept, but look, I wouldn't be in this position today. And if you wait right to the end, I'm going to tell you the reason as to why I actually went on this journey of buying and selling whips, and you know, my situation as to why I did it. And you know, it turned out for the best. And yeah, so moving on, decided to sell it. The marks here left, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get something sensible. I'm gonna go back to my roots. I'm gonna get something sensible. You know what I bought? I bought a 2007 Honda Accord Euro. Yeah, boy, I want the car that I wanted back in my OG days. I got it in manual, and you know how long I owned it for? 2 weeks, bro. 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure, I don't even think I filled up fuel on the car, bro. 2 weeks and then I sold it, gone. Just like that. And then I was like, I need something different. I want to get back to my Silvia roots, and I'm on my fulls now, yeah? So I was like, I'm gonna look for an S13 or a 180. And what did I find? An S13. Not just any old S13. The two-tone, factory era S13. Did it have an SI in it? No. It had an RB25 DET, freshly rebuilt by a Nissan mechanic. You know how much I bought it for? 9 grand. 9 grand for a RB25 swapped S13. Mint. Like aero, two-tone. It had the, obviously it was a swapped motor. It was CA originally, then converted to RB. And the interior was flawless. Had a heads-up display dash. This car was mint, absolutely mint. What did I do? I sold it. Yeah. I sold it, man. It's just like, and mind you, I was driving these whips on my freaking good behavior bond as well. Like, I'm driving, like, you know, this Mark II 100, and I had the Accord Euro to be sensible, and now RB25 DT S13 on a good behavior bond. Like, I'm supposed to be behaving myself right now, and I got these high performance whips. It's like, it was just silly. And then I sold it, and I went and bought a Honda Civic EK4. Yeah, boy. Back to my Honda roots. B1682, the genuine EK4 VTI, the only VTEC model that, like, you know, the B series VTEC model that came factory, that was released in the Australian market. You can obviously get the EK9s imported and shit now, but this is the OG that was Aussie delivered. So I had that, and this is when I was still working more, so you had more funds kind of flowing through and shit. And this is when I went and bought my dream car, my 180SX, my very first 180SX. And I bought this alongside the EK as well. So this is when I started to get a taste for having a daily and a weekend. I was like, man, this is pretty slick. Having 2 cars, mind you, prior to this I only had 1 at the time. And it's pretty hard convincing my parents to be able to have 2 cars at once because we didn't have much space to park on the street because my mum needed a garage for work, for what she does for a business. So yeah, it wasn't easy. I think I had to park it in several sections, right? Told them that I was gonna only have one for not too long. So I sold the Civic on. Dude, I sold that Civic for like 6 grand. And in today's market, they'd be about 15 easily. I'm pretty sure the same owner still owns it. He's kept it in good nick. They had a sunroof and everything. Anyway, when I bought my first 180. My first 180 in white, it was a Nissan 180SX Type R. So it was the variant just before the Type X, which means it had the black top motor. However, it didn't have any of the aesthetics of the exterior or the interior, but it just had the mechanically the same, the black top SR. And dude, I learned so much in this car, man. Like pretty much, obviously I learned drifting in a lot of previous cars too. Like actually, I didn't talk enough about the 31. That 31, I learned a lot about drifting there, and also the S15, to be honest. Like I remember trying to do dollies for the first time in the S15. It's wild. Yeah, it's crazy. But the 31 is when I really started to learn how to link the track and shit on the street. Yeah, it was very naughty. But look, this is up to number 9, which is the 180SX. And this car is a great car. I owned this for a long time. Got the Type X kit, Type X front bar. I put the Type X rear tail lights in. You might have seen the tutorial that I've made. Just still popping off. I'm helping people out there that want to wire up their rear tail lights. And this is when I started to make a bit more content, you know. I was starting to do some more. I still could have done a lot more. I kicked myself for about. I still could have done so much more. But look, guys, I'm gonna finish off with with number 10. I'm still not even halfway through. Like we've got another 16 more to go. It's actually crazy when you think of it. 16 more cars to go. At number 10, we're gonna wrap up with my second 180SX Type X that I purchased this time in silver. You're not gonna believe how much I bought this for. 180SX Type X in silver with like pushing 220 kilowatts, 6 grand. Bro, 6 grand, man. And you can probably tell, like by now, I've kind of learned the art of. Hold on. I hadn't sold the EK yet. I'd sold the EK, and I hadn't sold the white 180, and then I bought the silver one. And this was prime, bro. Like I had not just one, I had 2 180s, bro. Like a silver one and a white one. It was crazy. It was wild. Like you step out which car I'm gonna drive today, and I made some meme shit with that too. And this silver one, it was tuned, bro. It had a proper GT28 turbo, had like injectors. This thing was fucking flew. It was really quick. Had issues like when I bought it, the exhaust was hanging off, and there's actually a video for this one. Shout out to Rachel, who actually came with me for this vid to pick up the cars. He's come and helped me with a lot of whips, man. A lot of whips that I bought. He's come and helped me pick up. But yeah, I ended up sending this car in for a respray because I was going overseas. So I was like, I want to flip this bitch, but I don't want to do any work to it. So I got the exhaust fixed, got it sprayed, and then sold it for like 14.5 for a genuine Type X. Yeah, it was crazy, bro. Honestly, that car is like, in today's market, 25-30. It's crazy how much these cars have gone up in price. But I still made a very good flip on that. I think it was like at least 4 to 5 G's, just like doing nothing. It was crazy. It was absolutely wild. But guys, that's the first 10 that I've had to get through with this. I'm gonna try to do the next 10 very soon. If you guys want me to elaborate on some more of the whips, I'm gonna try put the photos up and whatnot. If you want me to elaborate on more of them, let me know, because I've got a hell of a lot more I can talk about these for. But I can only do like maybe 10 at a time because it's just so many whips to go through. So if you enjoyed it, drop a like, drop a comment, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get this YouTube thing cranking. I'm also, working on music and also doing my job in sales as well, man, doing electrical wholesale. So if you guys need some fucking cable or need some other stuff, I'm doing that as well, so hit me up on IG. But yeah, just trying to explore all the different avenues of life, man. I mean, I love whips, I love everything mechanical, I love sales, I just love music and shit as well. So it sucks that I didn't do all this YouTube stuff back then, because I reckon this would have really been something if I put some time into it. But hey, you live and learn, and now I'm in a position to be able to have the time to edit. I shouldn't waste my time playing fucking RuneScape. But that being said, that being said, you know, I'm just about to eat off into anyway guys, I'll catch you in the next one. I'm about to go PKing. Yee!
No. Oh my, bro, I just didn't record that. Oh my god! Why? Oh yes, we got him. Dropped. Ha 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 ha. What did we get? 180k. Bruh.